You get rear-ended at a red light in Florida. It is the most obvious, not your fault crash on earth. The other driver hops out, apologizing like crazy. They're shaking. They say, I've got insurance. I'll pay for everything. Please don't call. And now you're standing there thinking the same thing most people think. If it wasn't my fault, why would I call my insurance company and risk higher rates, more paperwork, and more drama? Here's the problem. In Florida, the smartest move after a crash is not always the move that feels fair. The smartest move is the move that protects your benefits, protects your timeline, and protects your ability to prove what happened if the story changes later. My name is Doug Brunetti. I'm the founder of Burnetti PA, and I've been handling injury and accident cases across Florida for decades. In this video, I'm going to answer the question clearly. Do you have to report the accident to your insurance company if it wasn't your fault? And more importantly, I'm going to show you exactly why skipping that call can cost you a lot more than you think. The straight answer, in most Florida crashes, yes, you should report it. If you're in a Florida car crash, even one that clearly is not your fault, you should usually report it to your insurance company promptly. Not because you want to use your insurance forever, because Florida's system often makes your own insurer the first stop for certain benefits, and because your policy and the law give insurers room to deny coverage if you wait too long. Let me put it even simpler. Reporting protects your options. Waiting limits your options. Now let's talk about what Florida law actually says, because this is where people get blindsided. Florida is a no-fault state, and that changes everything. Florida's auto insurance setup is different than many other states because of personal injury protection benefits under Section 627.736. It requires PIP benefits and policies that comply with Florida's required security rules, and it outlines the core benefits and limits. Here are 3 key details that matter to you right after a crash. 1. PIP pays medical benefits and 80% of reasonable expenses up to the policy limit as described in the statute. 2. PIP also includes disability benefits for lost income at 60% as described in the statute. 3. PIP has a 14-day rule. You must receive initial services and care within 14 days after the incident for medical benefits to apply. That 14-day rule is one of the biggest reasons you do not want to wait and see after a crash, because people often feel okay on day 1. Then the pain shows up on day 5, day 8, day 12, and suddenly you're scrambling. And there's another detail most people do not know. Florida's PIP statute ties the amount of reimbursement to whether a qualified provider determines you had what's called an emergency medical condition. If an emergency medical condition is determined, reimbursement can go up to $10,000. If not, reimbursement can be limited to $2,500. So when someone tells you, don't report it, it's minor, remember this. Minor injuries are the ones that get argued about the most, and they are the ones that can become expensive fast if you do not create the right paper trail early. Report to police versus report to insurance, 2 different things. Quick clarity, because people mix these up. Florida law requires drivers to notify law enforcement immediately for certain crashes. Florida Statute 316.065 says if your crash involves injury or death or property damage that appears to be at least $500, you must give notice to the appropriate law enforcement agency immediately. This is the police side. The insurance side is different. Florida does not have one single statute that says report every accident to your insurer within X hours or days. But Florida's PIP statute does say an insurer may require written notice as soon as practicable after an accident. And in real life, your policy almost always has a section called something like duties after the accident that requires prompt notice and cooperation. So if you wait weeks, you are giving the insurer an argument that you did not follow the policy condition. The big misunderstanding, reporting does not always mean filing a lawsuit. When I tell people to report, they sometimes hear, I have to start a huge claim. No. Reporting usually means you are creating an official record with your insurer so you can access the coverage you already pay for if you need it. You can report an incident and still decide later whether you are pursuing repairs through your collision coverage, pursuing medical benefits through PIP, pursuing uninsured motorist coverage, or pursuing the other driver's insurance. But if you do not report and then you need help later, you may discover the door is half closed. 5 reasons you should report even when it wasn't your fault. 1. PIP is yours and it moves faster when you act fast. If you are hurt, even a little, your PIP is typically the first payer for medical bills, regardless of fault. That's the reality of Florida's system. If you want PIP working for you, you need 2 things to happen. You need timely treatment within 14 days, and you need timely notice so the insurer cannot argue late reporting or confusion about when and how the injury happened. 2. Your policy can punish silence. A lot of people think, I'll wait until I need it. But insurance does not work like a debit card where you swipe whenever. If you delay, the insurer can start asking questions that hurt your case. Why didn't you report it? Why did you wait to see a doctor? How do we know the injury came from this crash and not something else? Florida's PIP statute expressly allows insurers to require written notice as soon as practicable after an accident. So even if you are not making a big claim, giving notice early prevents a preventable fight later. 3. The other driver might not have the coverage you think they have. Even if the other driver hands you an insurance card, that does not mean they have enough coverage to protect you. Some drivers have minimal coverage. Some policies lapse. Some drivers are uninsured. And if the other driver cannot pay, your own coverages matter, especially uninsured motorist coverage if you have it. Florida's uninsured motorist coverage rules are addressed in Florida Statute 627.727. The practical point is this: if the other side comes up short, your own insurer becomes part of the solution. But your insurer cannot help if you never told them the crash happened. 4. Your car gets fixed faster when you keep your insurer in the loop. A lot of not-at-fault drivers try to handle everything through the other driver's insurance. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it is a slow-motion disaster. The other insurer might delay while they investigate. They might not return calls. They might claim their driver is not cooperating. Meanwhile, you are stuck without a car. If you have collision coverage, reporting the crash lets you use your own policy to get your vehicle repaired sooner. Then your insurer may pursue reimbursement from the at-fault party or their insurance company. And this matters because of a word most people never hear until it bites them: subrogation. Florida's Highway Safety Agency even warns that if your insurance company has compensated you for damages, they may have subrogation rights. And if you sign a release with the at-fault party, you could be liable for monies that your insurer paid. That is a big deal. Reporting early helps you avoid signing the wrong paper in the name of keeping it simple. Practically speaking, if your insurance company pays out money and you then get money from the at-fault party's insurance also and sign a release, you might be violating your agreement with your insurance company, and then they may come after you for reimbursement. Number 5, quick reporting protects you when the story changes. Here's the ugly truth. Some at-fault drivers apologize at the scene, then tell their insurer a completely different story the next day. I have seen it happen more times than I can count, especially in commercial trucking cases. They say you stopped short. They say that you changed lanes. They say you were on your phone. They say they never hit you, that you hit them. They'll say another car caused them to do it, some phantom vehicle. If you report immediately, you create a time-stamped record and give your insurer the chance to document your version while details are fresh. That makes it harder for the other side to rewrite history. What happens if you don't report it? If you do not report your Florida accident, even when you are not at fault, you can create problems you did not expect. You may lose access to PIP benefits if the timing and documentation fall apart, especially with the 14-day treatment rule. Your insurer may argue late notice or lack of cooperation if you later ask for help. You might get stuck waiting on the other driver's insurer while your life is on pause. If you accept money privately and sign something, you may accidentally damage your own claim, especially if your insurer already paid and has those subrogation rights. This is why I tell people, the call you avoid today is often the mess you pay for later. How to report a Florida accident the right way. If you want to report without causing unnecessary problems, keep it simple and factual. Call your insurance company's claims number as soon as you can, ideally the same day or the next day. Give the basic facts, the time, location, vehicles involved, police report number, if you have it. Do not guess. If you are not sure about something, say you are not sure. Do not downplay injuries. It is okay to say, I'm sore and I'm getting checked out. Save everything. Photos, witness names, crash exchange documents, and your medical visit paperwork. If the crash involves serious injuries, a commercial vehicle, or you feel pressured into a recorded statement while you're still shaken up, talk to an attorney first. That is not about being difficult. That is about being protected. So, do you have to report your car accident to your insurance company in Florida if it wasn't your fault? The smart answer is yes, in most cases, because Florida's no-fault PIP system and your policy obligations make early reporting the safest way to protect your benefits and your timeline. And remember, Florida law also requires immediate notice to law enforcement for crashes involving injury or death or apparent property damage of at least $500. Now, if your crash involved a truck or a delivery vehicle or any commercial driver, everything gets more complicated fast. Evidence disappears faster. Insurance limits and corporate defenses change the game. So your next video is how a truck accident lawyer can help your case. Watch that next, because truck accidents are not just bigger car crashes. They are a different category of case, and the steps you take in the first days can decide the outcome. See you over there.